Real Virginia is produced by the Virginia Farm Bureau. Farming, it's all good. Visit our website at vafarmbureau.org.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart always.
Hello everyone and welcome to Real Virginia, a show about Virginia agriculture and the people who produce all of the wonderful products we enjoy.
Thousands of Virginians don't have easy access to healthy food. That's one reason the urban agriculture movement is growing fast. Are your lilacs looking puny? Mark Viette shows us how to rejuvenate them this spring. And we take you to a Virginia trout farm to explain why the aquaculture industry is making such a splash.
Hello everyone, we are coming to you from northeast Richmond, deep in the heart of the city. And this area here is what some would call a food desert. Norm Hyde explains to us what a food desert is and why it's so important not only to Virginia agriculture, but also to hunger relief programs.
Almost 18% of Virginia residents live in an area where there's no easy access to healthy food, according to a new study authorized by the Virginia General Assembly. The U.S. Department of Agriculture calls these locations food deserts.
Where the nearest grocery store might be 4 or 5 miles away, where about 50% of residents lack access to their own transportation, 80% of households, single mother households. So we're talking about an hour and 15, hour and 30-minute bus ride to the nearest grocery store. And all the while you're going to be very close to corner stores, fast food restaurants, cheaper in some cases, and certainly more convenient, easier to access unhealthy options for folks living in these communities.
Dominic Barrick's been working to bring healthy foods to areas like these for several years as the director of Shalom Farms in Goochland County. Last year, Shalom Farms donated 72,000 pounds of food with the help of individual, church, and corporate volunteers and supporters.
All of our food goes straight into urban Richmond. Half goes to Feed More, which is with the Central Virginia Food Bank, and the other half goes into these neighborhoods like Church Hill, where we are now, into after-school programs, into cooking classes, into nutrition programs, into our youth-run farm stands, our prescription produce programs, into a variety of feeding and food programs that help hopefully address this complex problem in a variety of ways.
Barrett says the term food desert doesn't really describe the wide variety of challenges many people face to get healthy food. For instance, rural Virginians often live too far away from a full grocery store, while urban Virginians might live much closer, but the bigger stores have all moved out of the neighborhood. It's a complex problem that his organization and others like the Virginia Food Council and the Farm Bureau are working to address. One answer could be the growing trend of urban agriculture, actually growing food in urban areas. But Barrett says that is much more than just a few garden plots in the city.
Urban agriculture can be an opportunity to grow that healthy food right in the communities that we work in. It can be an opportunity for folks to learn about growing food and to learn where their food comes from. It can also be a community development opportunity. It can be a chance for folks in a neighborhood to come together and to build relationships around that garden. And then more and more we're seeing people use urban agriculture as an economic development tool, as a job creator and as a wealth creator. We can see in many of these particularly low-income communities with lots of vacant land, it can be an opportunity to grow and sell food to generate income.
The Virginia Urban Agriculture Summit set for April 15th and 16th in Lynchburg, Virginia, to bring together many of the players hoping to address the challenge of food deserts. Anyone interested in hunger and healthy foods, as well as growing food in urban areas, is welcome to attend. Growing local food is just part of the answer.
When we say access, it's often about ease of access. How easily can we get to that food or get to that opportunity? And so our farm, it's somewhat close. We're a peri-urban farm, about 40 minutes from the city of Richmond. But the closer we can grow that food and the closer that food is to the people who are eating it, the better for the environment, the better for their bodies, and the better chance they are to engage in that process.
And if you're interested in volunteering to help Shalom Farms or any other local urban agriculture operation, go to their website at shalomfarms.org. In Richmond, Virginia, I'm Norm Hyde. Just west of the greater Richmond metro area is Goochland County. While development is knocking at the door, this is still a rural area where agriculture is a vital industry. Milk and other dairy products are the top commodity for farmers, followed by cattle and calves and grains and oilseeds. There are also a few professional poultry farms and nursery operations, along with some fruit and berry farms. 379 farms here generate more than $11 million in farm income, and 64 new farms were reported in the last agriculture census in Goochland County, Virginia.
Hi, I'm Mark Viette. Coming up on In the Garden, we're going to talk about how to get your lilacs to bloom. Stay with us.
The farm has been in the family for 134 years. This has been my home. It's the only thing I've known.
Growing up on a dairy farm was great. You've got all the opportunities to have fun in the wide open spaces and enjoy working with the crops and the cattle, and it was a good way of growing up. I really enjoyed it.
I believe that the family farm is important in this country, no matter if it's 50 cows or 5,000 cows. A lot of the family farms consume their own products and they realize the importance of having a good, healthy product.
I am proud that our family and all of us here at this farm at Walkup can be involved in producing nutritious milk for the society. I'm Dan Myers, a 5th generation dairy farmer from Virginia. I am dedicated to dairy, my cows, my milk, and my land.
Mark Viette takes us in the garden to show us how to make your lilac bushes beautiful again.
It's still March. It's a great time to prune lilacs, or you can prune them right after they bloom. You might have a lilac like this, really tall. The flowers, if they do flower, are at the top of the tree or shrub. You never can see them. The flowers are short and stubby. At the same time, keep in mind this lilac here is 15 to 20 years old. Over time, we might have other trees and plants that are not allowing enough light to your lilac shrubs. So first of all, make sure you have almost all day sun, or at least sun from 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock every day at night. One of the things that you can do is you can thin out some of this tall, old growth, and you can see this old growth could be anywhere from 3 to 4 inches in diameter. That's one way to prune or semi-rejuvenate your lilacs. The only thing I'm going to say is that's going to take quite a while. The other way to prune lilacs is to go ahead and cut them all the way to the ground. Now keep in mind, I'm not talking about the tree lilac, I'm talking about the shrub lilac. The lilac with lots and lots of stems. Now the lilac right behind me was pruned completely to the ground about 2.5 years ago. And you can look and see how great this looks. Let me show you how to do that. Once you've completely cut back your lilac, if that's what you needed to do, and after 2 years it's going to look, maybe 3 years, something like this, it is important that every year you remove 2 out of every 10 branches. That's like 20%. And a lot of times I'll focus on the old branches so it always produces new branches. And that prevents you from looking at this. You always keep it young and fresh. And the branches or limbs are usually no more than 5 or 6 years old, as opposed to this one here with 20-year-old branches. And it's really easy to do. You again, always be careful, but you're going to go in and remove some of the oldest growth and just reach in and you're going to cut it down low. In some cases, you can even use a shears like this. Now, when I said 20%, it's not always the oldest growth. It also could be some of the younger growth, because ideally, you want to go ahead and get lots of light into the tree. And what you're really looking to achieve is nice, beautiful, young new growth, long stems, so when you cut them in an arrangement, you have beautiful flowers. It's really hard to stick 2 or 3 stubby growths in the vase. This is what you're going to have, and you'll enjoy this lilac for many years. Remember, best times to do this, late winter before flowering, no leaves, or wait till you have a little flowering and prune it sometime end of April or May. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
For more garden tips, go to inthegardenradio.com.
Looking for a new twist on old tacos? Kendra Bailey Morris has a recipe for fish tacos coming up in the heart of the home.
Spring rains carry excess lawn fertilizer through our sewers and rivers to the Chesapeake Bay, where the blue crab harvest has been extremely low. So skip the fertilizer until fall. Because once they're gone, what's left to enjoy?
Do you operate one of these? Then you need one of these. If you operate a motorboat or PWC in Virginia, you need to know about Virginia's boating safety education requirements. Visit the Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fisheries website, huntfishva.com, for more details on Virginia's boating requirements or to locate a boating safety course near you. Be responsible, be safe, have fun, and always wear a life jacket on the water.
If you're looking to rev up your Taco Tuesdays, Kendra Bailey Morris has a great recipe using fresh tilapia from Virginia in the heart of the home.
Hi, I'm Kendra Bailey Morris, and welcome to the heart of the home. Today we're going to be making a really great recipe using Virginia farm-raised tilapia, and you might not know it, but this is a very big part of our agriculture here. And we're going to be making a fish tacos with a lime crema and avocado. And it's healthy and it's delicious and it's really, really, really easy. So what we're going to begin by doing is I've just got about a ½ pound of tilapia. What we've got here are just some dried garlic, some cumin, and a little bit of chili powder. And I'm going to just kind of use this as a sort of a marinade dry rub on this, and we're going to put it in the fridge. So I'm just going to add these in right here, and I'm going to rub them in well. That's my cumin and a little chili powder. As always, a little bit of salt and pepper. Generous with the black pepper. And then now I'm going to go ahead and squeeze a little bit of lime on this. And this is some fresh lime. Now when you're working with lime and seafood, whether you're working with fish or shrimp or anything like that, you can't marinate it for too long. And that's because you're actually going to end up with ceviche, and that's not something you necessarily want. For this, we just want the flavor of the lime to come through. And I'm going to add a little bit of vegetable oil to this as well. Rub it in real good. And what we're going to do now is go ahead and put this in the fridge for about 15 minutes. Do your best to not go past 15 minutes, like I said, because that lime juice will start to cook the fish, and you don't want that to happen. Okay, so our fish has been marinating for about 15 minutes or so. And now I've got a pan here preheated with a little bit of vegetable oil. You could use olive oil if you wanted to as well. Just remember, whenever you cook with olive oil, it's going to impart an olive flavor to it, so you may or may not want that in this dish. And now I'm just going to pan sear this until it's cooked all the way through. While this is going, we're going to go ahead and make a slaw. And this is just a really, really, really basic slaw. Just chopping this myself here. You could do it in a shredder if you wanted to. And this is just some fresh cabbage. You just want to slice it real thinly. Go ahead and add this in. And we're going to mix a little bit of cilantro. And that's going to add that very Mexican Hispanic taco touch. And I'm just going to go ahead and very loosely chop this up. And now I've got a little bit more lime juice. This is so, so, so easy. You could probably make this, I wouldn't say make it too early, but you could do it a day ahead, but you don't want it to get too strong in flavor or soften up too much, because again, it goes back to that texture. Always season, salt, freshly ground black pepper. And I'm just going to toss this around. This is super, super easy. Again, this is just the texture part of our tacos, and I'm going to set that aside. Also, while this is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and make our crema, and this is just a very easy lime crema. And I'm going to begin by zesting about half of a lime into some sour cream. And you could go ahead and get Mexican crema if you wanted to, if you can find it. If you have a Mexican grocery near where you live, that's really nice as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and squeeze just a little bit in here, not too much. Mix this around. Again, salt and pepper always. I'm a huge proponent of salting and peppering to taste. This could definitely be made a day ahead. So these are both done. We can put those in the fridge until we're ready. And my fish is coming along nicely. I'm going to cook it on both sides until it's nice and cooked all the way through and a little bit flaky. And this is what's going to go on our fish tacos. So I'm going to finish cooking this and we'll be right back. So our fish is done, and you can see that it's really nice and flaky and starting to fall apart, which is exactly what you want, but it's not overcooked, which you definitely don't want. And I'm just going to bring this over here and shred this up a little bit so these can fit into our tacos. And meanwhile, I would like to introduce somebody really special. This is Carissa Jackson, and she's going to be taking over the show here at Heart of the Home, and we're really, really excited to have her. So I'm going to have you talk a little bit about what folks can expect.
Well, I'm a Virginia girl, born and raised, and so I'm really excited about sharing some of my family recipes and bringing them from my home to yours.
Awesome, that's great. We're really excited to have you. So what we're going to be doing now, if you'd like to stick around and help out a little bit, we're going to make some of the tacos. And what I've done here is I have some corn tortillas. And we're just going to basically assemble these tacos. And when you're using the corn tortillas, you can see I picked up 2 of them. You want to go ahead and double these up because they're really delicate. Unlike a flour tortilla, you could just use 1. These you definitely want to. So what I'm going to do, and there's no particular order, I don't know, maybe you make yours differently, but the way that I go ahead and do it is I go ahead and put my fish on the bottom, just a couple of pieces here.
If you were going to use cheese, what kind of cheese would you pair?
You know, I would probably use like a queso blanco, which is just a Mexican white-style cheese. Like a lot of people, when they go to the Mexican restaurants, they have that kind of white cheese on stuff. Yes. That, I think, would be a nice blank slate. Typically, on these types of dishes, you don't put cheese, but I love cheese, too. So you could use a cheddar. You could use any type of mix that way. Monterey Jack would be really great as well. So what I'm going to do, I've got my fish here, and I'm just going to add a little bit of avocado. Doesn't need to be too much there. Looks good. Yeah, and then of course we have our slaw. I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of this here, not too much. We want to be able to fold these up. I have a tendency to overload my tacos when I make them because they're so good. And then a little bit of crema just to kind of go along the edge. You could put it on top. You could add hot sauce. I don't know if you like hot sauce on yours. Yeah,
I could definitely add some hot sauce.
You could definitely do a little bit of that. Of course, we'll add a little bit more here. And then we just go ahead and fold these up like so. And if you were entertaining, you could obviously have people build their own, or if you wanted to serve them like this, you could do that as well. But here it is. We have our tilapia tacos with a lime crema and avocado. It's fresh, healthy, delicious. I'm Kendra Bailey Morris. Let's get cooking.
Recipes from the Heart of the Home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafarmbureau.org.
Tilapia is rapidly becoming one of the most consumed fish in the United States. It is the 5th most popular species on America's dinner plate, according to the National Marine Fisheries Service. Tilapia are typically raised in North America in closed tanks, but much of the tilapia consumed in the U.S. is imported from Latin America and Asia, where it is usually raised in outdoor freshwater ponds. Blue Ridge Aquaculture Incorporated raises nearly 4 million pounds of tilapia each year at an indoor facility near Martinsville in Henry County. An estimated 75,000 pounds of live tilapia are shipped to markets in New York, Boston, Toronto, and other locations each week, making Blue Ridge Aquaculture the world's largest indoor producer of tilapia.
Nice. Yes, go! Yes! No! Come on!
Oops. Yeah, sure.
Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Fish farm farming continues to grow in Virginia. As Dave Miller reports, aquaculture has a wide variety of operations all around the state, including this trout farm in Highland County.
We're visiting a side of Virginia's aquaculture industry most folks don't get to see.
Trout hatchery was established in 1962. It's been, well, of course we have live trout like you see behind me, and also we do processed trout. We have fillets, 10-ounce boneless, 8-ounce boneless, 10-ounce regulars, 8-ounce regulars. We come out here in the mornings and we have a seine. One man gets on one side and one man on the other side, and we just kind of corral all the fish right down here to the end. And we dip them out with a dip net and we bring them inside. And then if he's a fillet, he gets filleted and boned, and if it's regular size, we just bag it after it's cleaned.
The trout are then boxed and brought into the walk-in freezer to quick freeze. From there, packages of trout are sent to market around the state.
Well, the homestead, for example, we process for the homestead every Monday, and the homestead orders every week. It's a weekly standing order. They could order as many as 100 to as many as 800, depending upon what kind of week they think they're going to have.
The thing that's very unique about Virginia is that we've got such a diverse land and water base, from the ocean, the Chesapeake Bay, to Southside Virginia, which is a warmer climate, up into the mountains. So it allows for us to grow a real diverse type of aquaculture product, ranging from clams and oysters in saltwater environments up to trout in the mountains to catfish on South Side where the temperatures are warmer.
Virginia is actually one of the top 10 aquaculture producers in the country. The Virginia Institute of Marine Science reports the annual economic impact of the saltwater seafood industry is worth more than $500 million, and another $53 million worth of farm-raised fish sales was reported by the USDA. In addition to trout, farmers raise catfish, rockfish, freshwater prawns, and even crawfish in ponds across the state. But getting back to trout, one of the other popular activities at the Virginia Trout Farm is catching them.
I think it's kind of easy fishing around here if you're a skilled angler. I mean, if you're somebody coming in and you want to definitely get your meal for the evening, then this is the place to come. Or you have a little kid, a grandkid that wants to come up here and try fishing for the first time.
It all starts here in the hatchery. Trout are raised here from eggs to market size.
We get eggs from Trout Lodge in Sumner, Washington. They are overnighted in here by FedEx, and we divide them out and we put them into incubators, and then they'll start eating, and once they start eating we can dip them out of the baskets and into the troughs, and then they're pretty much ready to go. I mean, they're getting their food and they start their growing process. But from about that size fish to processing size takes about 18 months.
Trout are also shipped to streams and ponds throughout the state.
Starting right now, as soon as the cold weather breaks, that's when the phone starts ringing for those live trout. We actually have a truck that we can haul 1,200 pounds on if you want that many trout. But generally, people just haul about 375 pounds.
That's going to do it for this edition of Real Virginia. We are so glad you could join us to celebrate the bounty Virginia has to offer. Whether it's in your home, your garden, or your landscape, we're proud to say that this is Real Virginia. So for everyone from the Virginia Farm Bureau, thanks for watching. Make it a good month.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart.